the stream.
I didn't say you could put your shirt down, Gabe.
You
gotta pay for it.
Well, he always does. So.
Well, that is the idea behind a Patreon, is it not?
Right.
Are you able to post a link in our Roll20 for me?
For what?
So for chatting. Sorry.
I gave it to you via.
I know. I click on it on my phone and it
sweet
takes me to
son
a
of a
page that says
bitch.
live chat that you can do with YouTube. It's really fun. Doesn't take me to where I need to go.
No, I posted it in Lovecraft Tapes. That Google Hangout.
Very proud of you.
And now I just posted in chat for you.
Thank you.
Jackass. All right, here we go.
No, Jack's ass is in the hospital.
Jack's white ass.
Only his asses, though.
Welcome to the Lovecraft Tapes. I am Jeremy, your keeper of arcane lore, and we play Call of Cthulhu, a horror role-playing game based upon the fictional works of Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Is it Phillips or Phillips? I don't know.
I think it's Phillips. I thought it was Stern, though.
Howard Stern Lovecraft. Your investigators of the unknown are Matt as Private Detective Dan Williams.
More like the Ripcraft tapes, am I right, guys?
Brian as Dr. Hubert Pretorius Loveland.
Does anybody have a Band-Aid for the big gaping hole?
And Gabe as Special Agent Roy Arroyo.
I'm pretty sure that I have the best strategy in running away, since I'm the only one that hasn't been horribly injured.
Yeah, I think lack of injuries is crucial for running away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, players. Why don't we begin by checking the mailbag for any letters from beyond? And we have a couple iTunes reviews today.
Ooh.
The first one says, Best Binge Listen Yet by Call Me Ivy. And they say,
Ivy.
Hi, Ivy. Call me Ivy. They say, I spend most of my days bedridden due to unlucky genetics. So podcasters are some of my favorite people in the world. Among those favorites, these guys have quickly climbed the ranks. They have a great mix of personalities that play together incredibly well, fantastic storytelling that doesn't have to be unrelentingly railroaded, until tonight, to get things done, and asides that keep me giggling throughout every episode. I cannot recommend this podcast enough to binge listeners and casual listeners alike, even those without in-depth knowledge of the Call of Cthulhu game. You'll pick up on the important parts, like how roles are resolved very quickly and easily. Keep up the great work, guys.
We love you. Thank you very much. I do anyway.
Yeah, these guys
I'm
like
a
you.
special spokesperson for the player side of the table. So.
Oh, okay, good.
All right, and the next review says, Seriously, this podcast is great, by Harrison Wyckoff. And he says, one of the best RPG podcasts out there, blows TAZ out of the water. It has a few audio mixing problems, but other than that, I love KG. I have no idea what he's talking about.
I love Cage as well.
No, our audio has always been 100% perfect all the time.
I can't believe it. But I'm going to try in a minute.
Okay, but if you want full points, you need to put 2 negative comments.
No, I think I'll stick with those positive ones. That's good. Was that the iTunes equivalent of a shit sandwich? What's that?
I thought iTunes was the iTunes equivalent of that.
Not sponsored.
Got him.
Got him.
And
All
now
right.
Apple will
Resume.
never give us money.
Well, speaking of that, we do have a few announcements. Do you like what you hear? Support us at patreon.com/Lovecraft Tapes for cool rewards in exchange for your cold, hard-earned cash. Hey, it takes moolah to produce a podcast as great as this. Again, that's patreon.com/Lovecraft Tapes.
That is true.
But more importantly, do you collect pillows with random designs on them? Then why not collect our pillows with hashtag tacofish designs on them at teespring.com/stores/Lovecraft Tapes? Because your cat told you to, and your cat is a cat of Ulthar after all. Again, that's teespring.com/stores/Lovecraft Tapes.
Yeah, I didn't even know we had pillows.
We do have pillows.
Did you want to fluff my pillows?
And
Firm
flags,
pillows.
and beach towels.
Those aren't pillows! And, of course, you can find these links and more anytime at thelovecrafttapes.com, or if you prefer, just Lovecraft Tapes out. LovecraftTapes.com.
That one's harder to spell.
It is. I can say the, but I can't say not the. All right,
You
guys.
spelled
I see it's about that time. Time to pay the bills.
Yeah.
We got
Hey,
Bill
Bill.
Cosby, Bill Nye, Bill O'Reilly, Bill.
Let's take a quick commercial break. And we're back.
Bill
wasn't
Klein,
that
Bill Collitz, Bill Burr, Bill Withers, Bill Maher, Bill Knightley.
Maher? Is that
Yeah.
how you pronounce that? Maher?
Bill DeWall.
Oh,
Oh, shit. All right, guys. Now, dear investigators, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today.
Holy mattress money.
We conclude Chapter 6, The Big Uneasy. Previously on the Lovecraft Tapes. Dan and Roy approach the homestead, unnerved by the scratchy, old-timey music emanating from within. They detect signs of cult activity and, luckily, get the drop on several members lurking within the farmhouse. A shootout commences, evening up the odds, but Dan is wounded in the gut. Again. Meanwhile, Hubert regains his strength enough to fight back against his rapist, then discovers the creatures are non-aggressive. In fact, they've brought him back from the brink of sure death by rattlesnake poison. Hearing gunshots, he exits the shack just in time to catch a... Hearing gunshots, he exits the shack just in time to catch a fleeing cultist by surprise, shutting the albino in with the mutated concubines. At first, Roy and Dan are grateful to see the good doctor walking around, but Hubert sees the group has been surrounded by a multitude of robed figures emanating from the caverns and from the south. Hubert, you are still weak from your encounter in the shack, wobbling unsteadily on your feet as the monk-like humanoids silently gather around your group. They reek of decay and fungal spores. Even though their presence is menacing, they do not move to attack. Instead, their mass is parted to provide a way through and into the dimly lit cavern in the cliff face, almost like a sign from above. Dan, you've had better days. 2 bullets in the midsection in as many weeks? What are the odds? It seems strange now to have wished for more adventure, the old gun lust boiling up like a black phantom from the wars. Or maybe it's not so strange. With Samantha out of your life, if even temporarily, you seem to have slid back into your old ways. Unhealthy ways, clearly. Now you're struggling to maintain a semblance of sanity as the familiar shapes of the mushroom zombies cloister nearer and nearer. That single bullet left in the chamber won't do you any good against them, but it might provide a way out if it comes to that. Roy, the back of your neck itches furiously as you watch the shuffling dead close in. Even if you had a machine gun, you couldn't take them all down, and more seem to be oozing out of the surrounding woods. You feel an overwhelming sense of fatalism, as if You feel an overwhelming sense of fatalism, as if you'd always meant to end up here. A voice drifts out from deep inside the cavern, a voice filled with honey and the low buzzing sound of... fuck me. A voice drifts out
buzzing
from...
sound of fuck me.
I'm in.
Fuck me.
Let's go, boys.
Fuck me, baby. A voice drifts out from deep inside the cavern, a voice filled with honey and the low buzzing of hornets slumbering in a nest. Welcome, gentlemen. Don't be bashful. I'll put the kettle on. As one, the brown-robed undead begin to shuffle forward, pushing your trio of investigators toward the cave mouth. What would you like to do, gentlemen?
Oh, we get to do stuff?
Allow me to change the map.
I'll kill myself.
I have some really great news, guys. Did you know that Jesus had disciples here in America? I just want you to take this free book that I have that will totally change your life.
Is this them or you?
Right. All right. We'll start off here.
I'm not wearing my magic
And obviously,
today.
they're surrounding you and sort of oozing out of the surrounding forestry. Yeah, so that's it. And they're
Will you ping the cave for me?
Yep, it is right there.
Thank you. That's what I thought. Just want to make sure.
Yep, just slightly.
Maybe they want to be friends.
Slightly east of the farmhouse. Excuse me.
Ooh.
Have they fully surrounded us yet?
Pretty much.
Damn, I was going to try and go for the shotgun on the porch.
Is there a ladder anywhere around?
Don't worry, son. I'll get my ladder.
No ladder, and as a matter of fact, they're, just... You can see that they're at least 3 to 4 deep now. Yeah. And why don't each of you give me a listen roll? Is that a thing?
What?
Listen?
I don't think it's a thing. I think you're just going to have to tell us what's going on. No, it's not, Brian. He's just going to have to tell us.
Oh. See how my luck's doing today.
I needed a 20. I rolled a 21.
Push
Can I spend the
roll.
luck?
Yes, of course.
I needed 20. I got
roll.
But you don't need to, Brian, if any one of you...
Got it.
All
I
right.
needed a 70 and I rolled a 98.
Wow. So Roy notices that he can hear sort of from the southwest some hooping and hollering and what sounds like a group of folks rushing toward you. You can hear them just very distantly, and they're saying things like,
Oh shit, they're Ewoks. Get in the cave!
and it sounds like they're approaching rather quickly.
Damn
Guys.
kids and their roving unintelligible babble parties.
Guys, did you hear that?
What'd they say?
Well, don't worry. Nick Fury's howling commandos are coming to save us. We're safe.
That's great.
Nice.
I think they're having us go into the cave, boys.
Cave Boys.
That's my new band.
Nick Cave Boys.
My band is called Free Beer Tomorrow.
You boys stay
I rolled
behind
an
me.
11,
I'll
so I'm
lead us
going to
in.
fail every roll for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to
So-
fail every roll for the next 6 months after the previous
Why don't we
episode,
play
so
it?
don't feel
We can
bad.
find out.
That's why I was trying to get the story along for once.
Well, it looks like we don't really have an option, does it?
You boys stay behind me. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna pull my cane sword out and just kind of slowly walk towards the cave with it in front of me.
All right.
And I'll be
jutting out.
brave and go in the middle of you two.
Nice.
I'm going to walk backwards, just gun pointed down the ready in case anything tries to charge
Pointed at
us.
I'll do it.
With one in the chamber, right, Dan?
I have another mag, though, so I
I know.
have 8 more rounds after that.
So why don't
I
you
know.
do something? Maybe like reload.
Because
And
then
I'll
I waste
have
the
my
one
gun
bullet
holding
that's there.
upwards.
It's not a video game. You can put the one bullet in your pocket.
Blocka blocka.
All right, so you advance towards the caverns, and we're gonna go ahead and change the map.
Ooh.
You should see nothing right now,
You're right.
I'm blind.
so I'm gonna
This
go
is
ahead
beautiful.
and reveal some areas for you, and we'll just go ahead and do that. All
Oh my
right,
god, it's a giant penis. Oh,
it is a giant. It's just the urethra. All
I
right,
might have to zoom out because I don't see anything.
just the tip.
yeah, it
Just
should
see
be
how
off
it
to the
feels.
left, B.
Okay.
Yeah, so you might need to zoom out slightly.
What a poorly designed cave we're in.
Welcome to the
Space R.
Microsoft.
As, Hubert, as you enter the cavern, your eyes adjust to the gloom quickly, aided by the burning wood torches set in sconces on the wall. The floor and ceiling of the tunnel ahead have been roughly surfaced, with stalagmites and stalactites snapped off and the stumps ground down in a cursory manner. There is a faint, pervasive dripping sound that echoes and rebounds off the craggy walls. From deeper within, a gleeful voice calls out, almost mockingly. I believe you are looking for Samantha, are you not? I have her here. Will you trade your life for hers? The question hangs in the air and is then punctuated by a woman's muffled scream. And all of you hear this.
I'm going to immediately push past both of them and start sprinting down the tunnel.
All right, Hubert.
Daniel, wait! I'm going to run with him.
Okay, Roy.
He slowly backs out of the cave and gets in a car and drives away.
I will run down carefully, making sure I'm centered to be afraid away from the torches.
Okay. All right.
What?
So as you race
said
forward,
there was torches on the walls.
So yeah, it's true. So Dan rushes past Hubert, and Hubert quickly follows. Roy is taking up the rear, and so Roy notices that as you press forward, the mushroom zombies also press into the cavern entrance and follow, essentially blocking out the light from the entrance.
Wow.
And the whooping sounds that you heard fall away. They sort of are becoming more distant. So we'll go ahead and scoop this out a bit more for you guys. I'm going to reveal. So after several yards, the tunnel splits in two, continuing east but also branching south. You're getting warmer, the voice taunts. It's hard to tell from which direction the voice came, since sound reverberates seemingly from everywhere.
Why don't you just tell us where you're at so I can come over there and kick your ass?
Ooh, nice, Dan. Why don't you go ahead and give me a listen roll, Dan, since you're in the lead?
Why are we playing
I
Where's
needed a 70
Waldo?
and I rolled a 3. That is an extreme listening success.
As he's trying to listen, I go, Daniel, you can't run ahead like that. You really have to stay with the group, because what if something were to happen to you? Like if you touch a torch and catch it on fire or something. What are you doing standing there with your hand to your ear? What, do you need some help with that?
What if you fumble a listen roll? Do your ears
Yeah, get in
fall
here,
off?
Roy. Talk with him.
No, it's happened before. I fumbled a listen roll back at the Contented Cow, and I had my right ear blown out by a lightning strike.
Nice. I vaguely remember that.
People apparently really enjoyed me being half deaf.
That was
What?
funny, yeah. Speaking over loud. So, Dan, you can very easily tell that the sound, the voice, is coming from the east.
He's this way, guys. Let's go. And I'm just going to kind of point out the east tunnel, and I'm going to start moving.
Okay, but let's stick together.
And
I would
keep
like
up.
to point out that they're following us, and now this better lead somewhere.
Okay. All right.
Somebody
so
say something?
you proceed a little bit further, and you go a little bit further, and you can see the tunnel sort of widens a bit, and then branches out again, continuing east, but then also a branch to the north.
I think we should split up. We'll each take a branch.
Yeah, because that never goes poorly in any kind of RPG ever.
It's okay. This guy's gonna leave when Jack's okay, so we can go one way and leave him to die.
So, Dan, you're in the lead right now, sort of leading these guys. Which way would you like to go?
I'm going to kind of take a moment to peek down both of the tunnels. I'm going to look down and say, Ollie, Ollie, oxen free.
The one to the north seems to, as you say this, your voice rebounds back to you more quickly. The other one is lost. Your voice is lost.
Polo.
To the north, then.
Okay, I'm going to say I have a feeling that we really should just keep going in the same direction, guys. It seems like that tunnel over there, I'm going to point to the one in the north, dead ends pretty quickly.
Okay.
As much as I hate having to go deeper into this thing, it's really our only choice right now.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I'm going to keep walking east.
And Hubert?
Mm-hmm.
You notice that there are some what appear to be shoeless footprints heading to the north. And they seem to suggest some sort of sign, like there might be much activity up that way.
He didn't even have to.
Daniel.
What?
Look at this. Do you see all these footprints going up? Are you sure that it's straight ahead and not north? I mean, it's right here in front of us. Look at it. I think this is the correct way. I think I'm going to follow this way. We should go this way.
Okay, but if this means that we don't find Sam in time, someone's going to pay. Because I swear to God, if he harms anything...
I don't think Sam is here. I think he's pulling us in. It's a ruse.
It's a shade of red that is often used in lipstick. Why would he?
I just start going right up north. Just going north.
Okay.
I'm driven. I'm following. Just staring down at the footprints.
Got it. Okay, so Hubert proceeds. What are you guys doing?
I guess I'm going to follow him north because I think splitting up at this point is just going to make things worse.
I'll split up. No, I'm going to keep going with them panting as I struggle to keep up.
Guys, can we take a break?
Shouldn't have skipped leg day.
Who doesn't put a bench in a cave?
Turns back to the zombie. Said, "Do you guys have a water bottle I can borrow?"
All right.
I just need a drink.
Hold on 1 second. I got the ice cream guy going past me.
Beam, 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 beam. Ice cream.
Yeah. All right, we're good.
All right. So Hubert takes the lead, manically following the footprints into...
I knew it.
The northern tunnel ends abruptly at a cave with a sunken floor at the center of which is a yawning pit opened in the floor.
I knew it.
Sitting in a circle around this hole are 13 naked men. Their throats slit cleanly and deep, so their heads loll all the way back, so it appears they are screaming silently at the sky. Their blood is gushed forth, streaming into the pit. There is yet luster in their eyes, and steam rises from the cooling plasma. This must have happened only moments ago, but you don't see any weapons in their hands or anywhere nearby. Their sacrifice will save this world, the voice booms out from further to the east. Can you be so selfless? Suddenly, a geyser of blood erupts from the crater, showering the ceiling with dark ichor. I need each of you to make a sanity roll, please.
Sanity! Sanity!
I needed a 60 and I rolled a 55. That is a success.
I needed a 64 and I rolled a 36. And as I see my rolls getting worse throughout the day, that is a success.
I needed a 57 and I got an 87. You can't push sanity, though.
All right, so Dan and Roy, I need you to each take 1 point of sanity. And let me know how that pans out with your current and total sanity.
I'm down from 60 to 59.
Okay.
So wait, where do I take it from?
What is your maximum, big guy? Dan?
66.
Okay.
Okay.
Temp insanity. Yeah.
I'm still temp. I still have the temp insanity from earlier.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Although I have a feeling it's been at least a couple of hours at this point, maybe, or at least an hour.
Probably
I
at
don't
this
know.
point, you're probably 2 hours in, honestly.
Okay, so that means I have, 8 hours left?
You've got quite a lot.
How,
Yes. I wouldn't worry about it.
How long does
things
temporary
matter.
insanity take to recharge?
It depends on what it is and what they rolled initially.
I rolled a
Because
10 on a d10, so
I
it's
am
10 hours.
down on my temporary insanity, but I can't remember ever losing any.
Yeah, I don't think you... do you have temporary insanity checked, Roy?
No.
Then you're fine.
So I'm at 67 of 68.
Cool.
Sure.
I just must have not recharged it from whenever last time happened.
My turn.
Could you please roll a d8?
No.
A date.
I can roll a D's nuts.
Roll a date.
Ha.
4.
You take 4 sanity, please.
Oh, okay.
So what
Should have rolled a 1.
Where does that put you at, big guy?
I'm at 54 out of 65
All right.
with my temporary insanity checked because, I found my way here to the ET cave.
Yeah, 53 out of 65, right?
53. Yep, you're right.
Math!
Math is hard.
All right.
It's rigid.
And
too.
you're already temporarily insane, so I think we're okay there. I don't think that's gonna. Let me check one quick thing here while we're fucking around.
Oh, great. Bye, guys. I jump into the pit.
Told you it was to the east.
Right?
No.
You a flip.
Oh,
Wait.
the footprints.
Just playing my character. Sorry.
Your character's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Character's so stupid.
God.
And he's
I
insane, so.
All right.
I miss Sam.
Boy, I wish there were a bunch of plants here.
I made that joke earlier. Sorry.
You're making fun of my insanity. Why, I oughta.
All right. So you don't need to make that. You're fine. So 4 is less than 5.
It
Boom,
is?
boom, boom. Math.
Public school math.
As an accountant, I can confirm this.
All right. So I think we're okay there. So why don't you describe to me just how shaken you are, Dan and Roy? You each took 1 point. So just describe to me what you do or think or whatever as a result of seeing this spray of this geyser of blood erupt from the middle of the floor.
You want to take this one first, Gabe, or should I?
I have an idea in my head, so I can run with it.
Go, Roy.
Okay.
That's a go for Roy.
I'm
I'm
going for Roy.
when I see this geyser of blood erupt, I'm taken aback to one of the early cases when I was running in the FBI. I was investigating a serial killer, and when we tracked him down, his apartment down, we walked in, and he had painted his walls in blood. So I'm taken aback to this, and I fall to the ground and realize that we have to stop what's going on here.
Nice. So Roy takes a quick knee, but just as
Long
quickly
as it's not at
recovers.
the national anthem, because then you're really in trouble.
But he quickly recovers, and with his resolve to bring to justice whoever did this. Dan?
When I see that geyser of blood, it takes me back to my first days down in Iraq on patrol. I was walking around with my unit, and one of our guys, just for a second, made the mistake of looking away, and he stepped and set off an IED buried on the side of the road. And I just remember seeing him just go up in a cloud of smoke and flame and blood and guts. And just like when I saw it in person, I feel the blast wave from that explosion, and it pushes me back. And I fall back to the ground before I kind of scramble back into the tunnel a little bit before I step back up and dust myself off.
Nice. So you regain your footing, and for whatever reason, you have a flash in your mind of that soldier's face just before it is obliterated. And just for that briefest flash, it is Samantha's face. you've taken a much greater hit on your sanity. So I'm going to need you to elaborate.
Problem.
And you're already temporarily insane, and also just on the brink of death, really.
Mm-hmm.
So the floor
It's
is
a
yours.
Monday.
Looks like someone's got a case of the Mondays.
Take it away, Hubert.
Ooh. I'm going to run up to the bodies that are around the spewing pit and reach for each one of them. I can do it. I can fix them. We can reset this. And putting their heads back up onto their necks and trying to keep them up, going to the next one as the one falls back and rushing back to put it back up and rushing to the next one to keep them up so I can reset it.
Ooh. And as you do so, you're slipping and sliding in all the blood, and there's blood raining down from the ceiling as the geyser hits the cave ceiling and then just sprays all over you. And so by the end of this little routine, this Abbott and Costello routine, you are just essentially coated and dripping in blood. And that is what Dan and Roy sees. This bloody apparition just manically going around and toying with these corpses.
That's how you get AIDS.
I don't need assistance. I love my
I'm
AIDS.
sorry I had to. It was right there.
Oh, Lordy. So, and that's where we're at. So, take it from here. Dan and Roy.
I have a question.
Yes.
Did we, Dan/I, get covered in blood also, or are
No,
we?
you guys are relatively protected. Particularly, he backpedaled and you fell backwards, so you're pretty much spared from the blast.
All right. Well, then the first thing I'll do is I'll rip a piece of cloth off my shirt and take a swab of the blood and put it in my pocket. So if we get out of here, we can maybe identify it.
Okay, nice. Go ahead and put in your inventory swab of blood.
I'm in the FBI.
No, you're
What?
not. You're in a cave, you dumbass.
Then I assume you actually have rubber gloves and a little baggie to put it in.
Sack.
Sure.
Small
Dan, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna just kind of, in shock, just for a second, stand there and watch as the doctor just kind of back and forth with these, and then I remember that Sam might still be down there, so I'm gonna go and turn back, look down that tunnel, turn back, and go, Doc, they're gone. We gotta go. There are people that might still be alive that could still use your help.
But I can end this. I can fix it.
No, you can't.
What? But you're not helping.
Nothing can be done.
I think I can fix this. And I collapse to the floor.
You want to go
I'll
get
go.
him?
I don't want to get blood on me. I'm just saying.
I'll walk
That's how you
over
get
to
AIDS.
him and put my suit coat around him. Let's go.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me.
It's fine. We need to go with Dan.
Stab Roy with my sword.
Hubert, why don't you give me a spot hidden, please?
I see blood.
I see dead
And
people.
dead people.
Ah, Bruce Willis is here.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And your eyeballs fall out.
I needed a 25. I rolled a 99, which is a fumble. I'm in the pit.
How do you fumble a spot hidden roll?
Hubert,
The blood is in his eyes,
you're-
and now he's blind.
You're darn sure that the answer lies at the bottom of that pit.
I know it's in there.
Signs point towards it.
It's in there. I pull away from Roy and run and just dive in head first.
All right, you guys have a single action to do anything to stop him from doing this.
I'll do a maneuver. I'm right with him. I'll try and grab his arm before he's able to dive in.
All right. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do a
Combat.
I think it's just Dex versus Dex, honestly.
Oh yeah.
So roll away, boys.
I'm gonna fumble this, and I'm gonna fall in too.
Oops, wrong one. Nope, that was right. Nope, that was strength.
No,
that's
you rolled
rank.
strength. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
failed.
I need a 50. I got a 20. That's a hard success.
I needed a 40. I rolled a 54 because I obviously this character can't roll jack and or shit.
Yeah. Well, this is a good thing that you didn't roll.
All right. So Roy, explain to me how you save Hubert from actually diving into this hole.
So as he gets up and starts charging, I'll grab him by his ankle. So that way he basically he'll hit his head on the floor as he's running, but at least he won't fall into the pit.
All right. And so your hand is, despite the blood-slicked ankle, you managed to just barely hold on, and your fingernails dig into his shoelaces, and just enough to trip him up. And of course, he's a slight old man, and he falls heavily to the ground.
I'm not that old.
Why don't
now
you go ahead and
he's
make a
sane
Constitution roll, Hubert, to remain conscious?
Okay. I needed a 50 and I got a 48.
So you fall heavily to the ground, but you are stunned
teeth.
momentarily, but just enough to realize that maybe the answer isn't at the bottom of that pit after all. But now you're going to have quite the bruise on the left side of your face.
Nice.
And you feel a
Do a
wave.
D100 for damage.
You feel a
Chicks
wave
dig
of
bruises, man.
annoyance, but also gratitude towards Roy.
Okay. Roy, thank you so much. I don't know what came over me.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Let's get out of here. This place is not natural.
Lead the way, Dan.
I run and jump into the bed. Da-da-da!
Perfect.
So we're gonna head back down the north tunnel. I'm gonna head east, make sure I still have my gun back up and at the ready, and I'm gonna start heading back down that tunnel
Did
towards
you reload it yet, or
where that guy might be.
You still got the one. All right, so Dan forges ahead, maybe slightly cautiously, knowing that the two guys behind are coming a little bit more slowly. Roy is Roy is essentially carrying the doc at this point, who is just slipping and sliding around, coated in this congealing mass of plasma. That
quick, get me some casing. I'm gonna make sausage.
it smells like old
Blood
pennies.
sausage.
And we'll go ahead and reveal the next section here.
From the back section.
We're getting some action from the back section.
And
I knew
actually,
it.
I might as well just review the whole fucking thing here. Boom, boom,
I love the
whole
ET
shebang.
thing.
boom, boom.
Oh, it's a kidney.
It's a kidney. All right, Dan.
Oh, it's a dead end. We gotta go back.
Fuck.
I told you it was south.
The rough-hewn tunnel opens into an enormous cavern with cathedral ceilings that drip with stone formations that seem somehow mutated, twisted. There is a low hum vibrating in the air, making it hard to concentrate. From the northern wall, bing, give you a little twist here. Well, maybe it's not going to twist. Sorry.
Do the
There you
twist.
Oh,
From the northern wall juts a polished obelisk almost 2 stories tall and half as wide, bulging outward as if pregnant with a presence which lurks behind the near-translucent glass surface. Indeed, you swear you see something dark flicker with movement beyond that misty portal. But it could be a trick of the torchlight. So glad you could join us, the voice beckons. You see him now, a tall, shirtless man with long hair standing in front of the obelisk. His teeth gleam white as he smiles widely. In his hand, he holds an obsidian puzzle box. With a flourish, he bows low, and you can see behind him is a low, flat slab of stone upon which lies Rosita, clearly unconscious. 4 robed individuals squat to either side of her, brandishing shiny curved blades. I believe I owe you an explanation. But first, introductions. My name is Tommy Ray. He points towards Hubert. Doc. He nods and grins.
Tommy?
Good to see you again. Then he turns to Dan. Mr. Williams, you're quite the resourceful detective. Finally,
well, I learned from some of the best, so
he's talking.
That's fine. I should have let you guys have a little. And actually, let me back up. Let's go ahead and do this again, and we'll let you do your interjections because I think it's appropriate. But first, introductions. My name is Tommy Ray. He points to Hubert. Doc. He nods and grins. Good to see you again.
I just wish it was under better circumstances.
Then he turns to Dan. Mr. Williams, you're quite the resourceful detective.
Well, let's just say my fiance and her dad were some of the best, and I pick up things pretty quickly.
Finally, he looks at Roy. And Mr. Arroyo, or should I say Miss Blaine? Half of her, anyway. The other half? He looks meaningfully down at the black cube in his hand. About time the two of you were reunited. Don't you think? Roy.
And I'll just...
A sharp pain stabs you behind the eyes. Unbidden, you see a series of images, memories that are not your own. You see Samantha Blaine obsessing over certain incantations in ancient tomes she's acquired with money, guile, and the assistance of other shady individuals.
Slim Shady individuals?
Well, the real Slim Shady, please stand up. She is trying to open a portal in time, a way to find her father, Charles Blaine, whom she is convinced lives somewhere in the past. Unfortunately, she attracts the attention of things beyond the veil of reality. She manages a desperate gambit, casting one final spell to split herself into twin non-physical forms. One is deposited into the obsidian puzzle box. The other drifts through ethereal planes, pulled inexorably toward her heart's one true desire, Dan. She cannot possess him, however, unwilling to subject him to this supernatural occupancy. But she finds you instead, incapacitated, on the verge of death in the hospital. She whispers to you, offers to restore your health in exchange for a place to hide inside of you. You accept. Over time, Samantha tries desperately to communicate, leaving you clues, forcing you to do certain things, to see certain signs, all in an effort to... That's right, Mr. Arroyo, the man says agreeably, as if he's able to read your thoughts. She was trying to warn you. Don't come to Laplace, she was trying to say. It's dangerous here. And she was right. Should have listened. It was pretty easy to get rid of old Jack Whiteside. Been years trying to get at him. Who knows? If his mama hadn't to run from our family here, maybe he'd end up like these fine folk. He gestures towards the hooded figures surrounding Rosita. As one, they push back their robes to reveal the familiar but long-dead features of Bugsy Cicerelli, Sharon Skinner, Fred Petunia Ambrose, and a young woman who resembles Jack Whiteside. Hey, hey, the gang's all here, Tommy croons. Roy and Dan, I need you to make a sanity roll.
Meanwhile, I'm going.
Well, you don't
I
recognize any
need
of
a
these folks.
59 and I rolled a 56. That is a success.
Spend the luck.
I needed a 67 and I rolled a 94, which I suppose makes sense.
Kind of does. All right, Dan, you're going to take 1 point of sanity damage, please.
Puts me down to 58.
And Roy, I'm going to need you to make a D10 roll, please.
I got an 8.
Okay, that's going to put you into temporary insanity. So go ahead and check that little box.
I'll roll a
You
D100.
lost 5. And then I'm going to need you to make a D100 roll, please.
Everything will end soon.
Got a 35.
5. Nice. Ooh, this is not good. All right.
Do you need to whisper to him?
No, I don't. I don't think I need to, actually.
I had such a good one-liner. Can't
Boy, this
use
is
it
gonna be
now.
rough. But it actually sort of makes sense. So,
Yeah.
Dan, why don't you explain to me what happens when you take this 1 point of sanity damage? It doesn't need to be anything extreme, just how you feel. As seeing Bugsy and Sharon and Petunia.
And finding out Samantha's in a box and half of him in Roy.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that. But you're strong. Like your conviction has carried you through.
When I see all these people that had kind of become, or at least a couple of them had kind of become friends in a way, especially Bugsy, it's going to kind of give me that eerie sense almost of deja vu. Like, maybe I've kind of known that something was coming for a while now, and it's just now entering the forefront of my brain. And I'm just going to take a moment, and I'm almost going to drop my gun down before I kind of shake my head out of it and bring it back up right onto Tommy.
Okay. All right. Roy, your reaction is a bit more extreme. You go ahead and explain that. And I'll tell
Turns
you what
around
happens to
and
you.
runs and jumps into the pit head first.
I'm following him. Me too.
Hashtag.
Question beforehand.
Yes.
If I crawl towards the bodies, am I going to get like murdered, or are they going to allow that?
Do you mean towards Bugsy and that, or back towards the zombies down the hall?
Towards Bugsy and that.
No, that's actually fine.
Okay. So as they reveal them and I suspect it is them, I'll fall to my knees into tears immediately, and I'll crawl over to all the bodies. And as I confirm that it is essentially everyone I've ever cared about, and they're all dead or about to be killed in Rosita's case, I'll just start hitting myself in the chest and the head, and to the point where I'm bloodying and breaking my fists on my body because I wasn't smart enough to see this coming, and I wasn't smart enough to understand what Samantha was trying to tell me. And as I become increasingly more furious and I'm just increasingly injuring myself, I'll fall into a fetal position and just start laughing.
Okay. All right. So as you crawl over towards where the 4 mushroom zombies, who were once some of your friends, surrounding the unconscious form of Rosita, you crawl towards them and start beating yourself about the head, chest, neck, and lamenting the fact that you were not quick enough or insightful enough to understand what Samantha was. And it's almost as if you're trying to beat Samantha out of yourself, out of your head. As you're crawling your way towards that altar, that low altar, and thinking about just curling into, maybe in your mind you've already curled into a fetal position and started laughing, your the obsidian portal to the north sort of catches your eye, and it looks so smooth and mirror-like. You feel just a cold, dead shudder through your body and your soul.
Lick it!
That
Ooh, touchy.
it seems as though a serpentine form presses its face against the other side of the portal and is looking, leering, laughing at you. And then Tommy Ray says, "Now, this might sound all Bond villain-like, but I want to be very clear about what's at stake.
Are you going to monologue?
I'm monologuing here. Roy, I'm going to need you to take Rosita's place over there. She and Dan can walk out of here all friendly-like, but I might suggest they run, considering what's going to come through that portal." Suddenly, a chorus of voices echo from the tunnel back the way you came. "All hail Yig, serpent usurper, most holy snake, Yig, master of the rattle." Tommy Ray grins even wider. "Yep, that'd be him. And he's pretty impatient, as you can see." He waves a hand towards the pregnant portal to the north, which seems now to be pulsing with a greenish glow, and from within thrashes hazy black writhing. "Doc, I know you want to stick around and see all this, and I'm fine with that. Who knows? Maybe we can use your expertise when he arrives. Okay, Roy, let's get this show on the road. And if you get any funny ideas, I'll make sure to send 12 members of my family to visit the 12 members of your family. Deal?"
I'll get on the table.
So just give me what? Let me. So you're saying that you need that little box in your hand to open up that portal at the back to basically end reality as we know it. I just want to make sure that we have clear air here. I want to know what's happening. Is that right?
I think. Well, I did say you were a pretty good detective, Mr. Williams.
Well.
So I'm going to give Hubert and Dan each an action before
I really
falls onto the slab.
There's only one option in this case, and I'm going to draw and I'm going to shoot the obsidian box.
All right, and Hubert,
obsidian.
What are you going to be doing?
I'm going. Well, I don't. Do I have enough strength to tackle Roy?
To tackle Roy? He's a bit away from you, so I would say that's probably not an option.
Where are we at in relation to everybody? That'll help me make a decision.
Let's say that basically you are, I don't know, 30 feet away from Roy, let's say.
Okay. How far am I away from Jimmy Joe Job, Jimmy
40.
Jane Bombs? 40 feet?
Yep.
Okay, so like the portal itself is what, like up here on the north wall? Is that where it is? And we're kind of like back here. Like, did we walk any farther in, or are we still like right over?
You walked further in, so basically,
like middle of the room, and everyone else is like up here.
Essentially, yeah.
That's
the rough part of it, yeah.
Okay.
The altar and and Tommy Ray and the four figures are just in front of the portal, a few yards. So they're probably closer to here. Okay. And then Roy's here, and you guys are probably closer to here. So. I mean, it's not that important, the logistics. It only depends on what you are going to attempt to do, and I'm not going to be too nitpicky about it. So
good. I'm going to. How close can I get to them and still do an action like a throw or something?
Depends on what the action is.
Like a throw or something.
Throw what?
I'm going to throw my crucifix
at
one of the
rock drummer Tommy Lee.
Yeah, Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee Jones.
At the cultist?
I don't think he's dead. Ray? So I'm going to throw at the one to his right. Whoever's standing to his right.
So you're going to basically target one of the robed figures.
Correct.
That is near the altar, right?
Yep.
Okay, and so pick one. You know who they are? You don't need to roll just yet, but who you throwing at?
I'm going to choose the girl. Because I don't know any of them
the one
personally.
Who looks vaguely like Jack Whiteside.
Yeah, I don't know any of them personally, so.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, so you're going to just picture your crucifix and tell me what your crucifix does.
Why are you laughing, Matt?
YouTube
not funny.
chat. Someone just dropped in.
That's not funny, Matt. Oh, I closed it because no one was on there. Damn it!
Someone just dropped into YouTube chat.
Funny.
Okay,
Oh,
so
God.
all right. So, what do you need me to do? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Tell me what your crucifix does.
Oh, I have a blessed crucifix that I can use one time a day on one target. A successful hit with a crucifix will destroy a zombie.
Okay, fair enough. Gotcha. So you're winging it at the woman. Got it.
Correct.
Cool. And Dan, you are targeting the...
Obsidian puzzle box.
Okay. Deep breath. Deep breath. The deal has been struck, and you guys are negating it. So let's go ahead and start with Hubert. And you're going to need to throw that mofo. So that is Hubert. I think that's going to be a firearm.
Oh,
right? Or you actually have throw. Sorry.
I was going to say I have a throw.
Throw away.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
I needed a 20, which is really low. I rolled a 9.
Okay. Nicely done. And Dan.
I'm going to push it.
Push it real good. Dun, dun, dun. I'm stalling. I'm quitting. Good night.
No, you're dying. Good night.
Yeah. I needed a 43 and I rolled a 96. That fumbles my firearm.
All right. So Hubert whips his crucifix at the robed figure of the young woman whose features look much like Jack Whiteside. It strikes her dead between the eyes, and her corporeal form dissipates in dust. Nice. And the robe slowly settles to the ground, the knife clattering against the slab of stone.
Obi-Wan.
And you hear a faint wail as Jack's sister is
released
sent to another. Yeah, released. Thank you. Is released. And it's just.
Thank you.
Not so much. It's more of a creepy kind of. Yeah, creepy.
you douchebag.
And then you see, Hubert, that the crucifix, the sheen that it once held, it now is dull.
Okay. I'm gonna run and grab it and wait one day.
Hey, guys, can we just call a timeout? We need to. Can we hold this till tomorrow? Okay, we're all good.
Dan lines up.
Can I push a fumble, or is that like a no?
You can push it?
Well, actually, no. You can absolutely push it.
Then I think for the first time in the history of the Lovecraft tapes, I'm quite legitimately going to push my roll.
That's no shit.
Ha.
I needed a 43, and my push gave me a 39.
Nice.
That is a success on my push.
Oh my gosh.
I have a 100% success rate with roll pushes. That's it. I'm retiring.
Ooh.
Get back. We're still playing with your rolls.
So Dan lines up his shot. A drop of hot sweat rolls into his left eye, blurring his vision just as he was pulling the trigger. Excuse me. And he fires. And he knows he's out. His sights are off. The bullet fires far away from Tommy Lee. Hits the portal. twangs off the portal, hits a wall, snaps a stalagmite or stalactite, and then goes and hits the obsidian puzzle box, shattering it. The obsidian puzzle box explodes in 1,000 black shards, littering the floor of the cavern. A wrenching, ghostly shriek echoes throughout the chamber, which quickly dwindles to a wailing, confused cry of, "Why? Why? Why?" And then it is gone. The portal in the wall closes with a snap, becoming just another polished piece of stone instead of a pregnant piece of the mountain ready to birth an elder god. And Tommy Ray is just another lunatic whose sanity is snapped completely. He is scrambling on the ground, attempting to assemble and put the pieces of the cube back together, unaware of his futile efforts. But, for now, his control of the undead horde seems to have slipped into neutral. They sway in place, rooted to the spot like so many cave mushrooms. And why don't each of you give me a intelligence roll?
Ooh. I need a 50. I got a 61. That's a fail.
Okay.
I needed a 50. I rolled a 27. That is a success.
I needed a 45. I rolled a 24. That's also a success.
Nice. So, Dan, you realize that you have a very finite window to get the fuck out of here. And Roy is still on the ground. Hubert looks like he is under his own steam, but very wobbly. But you're going to need some help with Roy. You do notice also that Rosita has come too.
Gabe's Bay.
Hey,
I miss Bugsy.
Rosita. Glad to see you.
What's all
Glad
happening
to see
here?
you up. Long story, no time to explain. You grab the old guy. I'm going to take Roy, and we're getting the fuck out of here. And I'm going to down, and I'm going to pick him up and army carry him over my shoulders so we can get the fuck out of here.
Nice. And Rosita gets up from the slab, sort of looking at the now stunned robed figures to her left and right, and the pile.
Like I said, long story. We gotta go now.
And the pile of ash, and she clambers up and heads straight towards Hubert and picks him up, slinging him over her shoulder, not even noticing that he's slicked with blood, and maybe not even caring. She's like, "Come on, Doc, let's go."
As he's picking me up, you can tell me if this is out of my realm of sanity to say or not, because I'm not exactly certain how to judge it, but I'll say, are we just going to leave the hellbound heart? He could do this again.
Nice. And Roy is very satisfied to see that the portal has now become less like a mirror and more like a dull piece of stone just set into the mountainside. No special properties. And you guys race back towards the cavern entrance, I assume.
Yeah.
And you easily get through the throng of mushroom zombies, most of which are now beginning to disassemble, and their forms are beginning to. You can see them sort of looking at their bodies as they crumble and shrivel. And Dan, you can feel your unnatural fear of vegetation dwindling with their own dissembling.
Guys, we just got to keep going straight. That's the way out.
No, I think we
Am
should
I
stop and
seeing
check out
that?
that cave to the south, you know?
And as you pass that cave to the south, Hubert and Roy, both slung over shoulders or whatever, notice a familiar shape drifting through the air. A translucent, slightly pink-tinged creature, which is making a beeline from the southern chamber up to the northern chamber where the men all slit their throats. And as you exit the entrance to the cavern, back out to sunlight and the afternoon, you can hear a echo of slurping noises. That's it. That's it. All right. So you guys are out back onto the farmstead, the homestead. And as you get out there, we'll put you back on the map. You see a gaggle of naked, very skinny, thin, junkie-like men wandering around the concubine house, the outbuilding, clutching their heads and tearing at their flesh. Their eyes have been pulled out by their roots.
Holy shit.
What would you like to do?
Kill it with fire.
I'm going to go find that sexy guy that had his way with me. And
Rusty Arroyo, just saying. We could take him.
We've got to get out of here. What's the quickest way to your boat?
Rosita says, "Oh, they took my boat. It's just over there past the tree line." And she points out,
the keys?
What's that?
I'm talking to Rosita. I assume you still have those keys, right?
Yeah, I think if we can get to my boat, we can get out through the lake over there. There's a hidden channel that goes back out to the river.
Great, because we need to get as far away from this place as we can, as fast as we can.
It's her boat in that little lake. The pond. Four eyes.
And,
audio podcast, guys.
So she takes Hubert towards that structure over there through the woods. There's a little bit of a path. You guys can all see that now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Brian can. I don't know. And sure enough, on the shores of this lake, it's a small little lake that appears to be the dumping point for probably the sanitation system for the entire compound. So it's disgusting. And but her boat is right there, and nearby is a short little creek that will lead back to the main river.
Let's go. Let's get this done.
And sure enough, you guys hop into the boat. She gets it started, no problem, and you drive the boat away along the small creek, and you can hear the moans and screams of the cultists, the Glatmanites, what remains of them, as they tear the flesh from their eyes and scream, "Yig! Yig!" And you make it back to the mainland.
Woo!
Alive, but barely.
And on the road back, we get shot in the face.
Hold on. Once we get back, I want to... hey, Rosita.
Yeah,
Can I
baby.
go to a hospital?
You don't happen to know where I could potentially get some high explosives from around here, do you?
I might be able to line something up. What you got in mind, boy?
Because as much as I hate that place, we need to go back. There's a tunnel that leads from the old graveyard into that compound. I want that thing so full of rubble that they will not be able to dig their way out for 100 years.
All right. So why don't we leave it at this? We'll say that both Roy and Hubert end up in the hospital with Jack Whiteside, receiving care and particularly some psychological care. And I don't know what my wife's doing out there, but some psychological care. And Dan and Rosita head back the next day with enough explosive to permanently close that tunnel that leads
Take
from
one of the rapists.
That leads from the cemetery to the compound, and that should do what they needed it to do. So let's go ahead and play that out, Dan. So you arrive and the tunnel is there. The cemetery seems lifeless now. There isn't that threat. Obviously, you don't feel any threat from the vegetation, and you don't you see the shattered remains of the church door, but you can tell that whatever was here, what evil dwelled here once upon a time, has been expunged.
I'm going to pull up a small piece of weed and tickle him from the backside of his ear.
Hubert, you're in the hospital, boy.
Yeah, it's just
I thought
Danny.
I thought you were too.
It's just Rosita and Dan.
I thought Dan was too.
I'm still bandaged up.
Nope.
I'll
Dan's
take care of that
fine.
later.
His sanity was pretty good. So
Yeah, but he got shot in the stomach twice.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's his
he's
sanity that I'm worried about.
Whatever.
Anyways, Dan.
I know we took care of what was back there, but after today, I'm not sure that I'm ever not going to be creeped out by graveyards ever again.
Well, I don't blame you, honey. That's this place gives me the creeps too. I thought this was a peaceful place once upon a time, but you know, I heard about your girlfriend. I'm sorry you had to do that for me.
Yeah. She was special to me. And as much as I would have liked to have seen her again, I know that she would have never forgiven me if I would have let an elder god ruin, what we had of reality.
Well,
She was always for saving other people, helping other people, doing what's best for everyone else. So I figured the best way to honor her would be to what I think she would have want me to do anyway.
Well, I understand that, and I can appreciate that. And from what I've heard from you and Hubert and Roy, I could certainly hope that she is with her father right now on some distant plane of existence. You might call it heaven. And I hope they're smiling down upon us right now.
It's probably how.
It's probably 1957.
Well, we should probably do this. You want to light the fuse?
Yeah. Let's collapse this son of a bitch and never speak of this again and never come back here ever again. How's that sound?
That's a deal.
I'm going to pull out my Zippo, click the flame on, just kind of look at it for a second, and then bend down over and light the fuse and just start walking away.
But don't look back.
Exactly.
Don't look back.
Cool guys never look at explosions.
And you and Rosita both walk away from the explosion, which is almost sounds like more of an implosion, as the tunnel is collapsed for good permanently. And yet, on the wind, you think you hear, why? 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 And that's where we'll call it.
Because...
You know I had to do it to him.
Do it to me, baby. And that will be it. The finale of Chapter 6.
Yay.
The Big Uneasy. I can't believe you all lived.
I know.
I know, right?
Wow, pushing the roll. That was amazing.
Yeah.
First time in what 50-something episodes that we haven't actually. We joke about pushing rolls all the time, but I think that's the first time anyone has actually pushed a roll.
I don't know if you heard me, but I was completely prepared to get onto that altar.
Yeah, I heard you. That's why I said
kind of what I thought was going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was going to be. There was a whole other scenario, a whole other ending where Roy gets on the altar and terrible
it goes
things
bad.
happen. Well, sort of. Just a couple different alternate endings, and there was also a couple things that Hubert could have done, but. That's true. Charles did push roll back in the day. So.
Oh yeah. So technically, well, it's the first successful roll push.
Yep.
So yeah.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this time, and we will reconvene in a while for Chapter 7. We'll see what that brings us. But right now, it's time for some recommendo. So why don't we each roll?
Yay!
A D100. Just for funsies.
What are we going by? Highest or lowest?
Highest goes first. And that'd be me. So it's... Hey, now. Come on now. 6 equals 6. All right. So I'm going to roll a... 1D100. All right. So my recommendo tonight is the 2018 movie Annihilation.
Dude,
yes.
Good movie, man.
Just saw it the other night. Directed by Alex Garland, who wrote 28 Days Later and directed Ex Machina. Starring Natalie Portman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Oscar Isaac. It is the story of a woman whose husband returns from a top-secret military mission, changed in more ways than one. This is a gorgeous piece of cinema. Lensed by Rob Hardy. Bursting with color and texture. It's an intelligent script adapted from a series of books. Have you guys read any of the books?
I did not know it was a series of books until I went on and read reviews about it later. I had no idea.
What's a book?
I'm compelled to read them because I was pretty impressed with the movie. There are some scenes of what I would call hand-holding for American audiences. A couple annoying scenes that were basically, let's deliver a bunch of exposition, but I don't think it was enough distraction to take away from the overall intelligence of the movie. There are some scary fucking scenes here, and I don't want to go too much into detail because they're nice surprises, but I will say...
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Me and Brian, we saw that in theaters, didn't we?
You did?
And that... I'm thinking of the scene that you're thinking of that was really scary.
Well, the swimming pool scene is quite alarming.
The pillow fight scene is even worse.
Pillow fight. The swamp shack scene is pretty intense.
The rundown house.
More importantly, the rundown house. That really freaked me out. So some really good original concepts and very horrific and Lovecraftian, which is, so if you're listening to this podcast, you're going to enjoy a lot of these elements. Particularly the scene at the end reminded me of Color Out of Space. That tale of a meteorite essentially changing the landscape of a farm. Which, if you haven't seen, there is a movie based upon The Color Out of Space. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it stars Will Wheaton. Yeah.
I just Googled Color Out of Space, and Annihilation was the first thing that came up.
Nice. Yep. It was called The Curse, is the one with Will Wheaton and who played Sheriff Lobo. Shoot.
Oh, geez, that's a throwback.
Yeah. I can't remember the actor's name, but he's the dad in it. It's quite good. Anyways, I found it. The more I think about Annihilation, the more impressed I am because there's a lot of psychological subtext going on, and it leads to more questions than answers. So it's a great conversation starter, I think. My wife did not enjoy it as much as I did. There are some nods and references to Alien and The Thing and other similar movies, but I really enjoyed it, and it's a thinker. So I highly recommend 2018's Annihilation. All right, Matt.
Well, I figured I'd stick close to the belt thematically here. So I have a game that's all about zombies, because who doesn't love zombies? State of Decay 2 from Undead Labs just recently came out. It's a zombie survival game, but not in the traditional sense. It's not you running around the world trying to, find out who did it and stop it and, maybe save the whole world. It's you and a small group of survivors building a community and just trying to eke out a living and just trying to survive in this end of world scenario. You have all your different survivors who are all different. They have different specialties and talents, and you have to manage, running a base. So you need a constant supply of food and water and building materials to upkeep things. And you have to, travel these expansive maps to scavenge and pick out from homes, and other people eventually show up and you can help them. And if you're nice enough to them, they might join you. Or if you either shun them or do things to make them angry, they might come after you and try and take your stuff. And it's really something different from most zombie games out there. And I enjoy that sense of community, that journey to build something, to make something out of the end of the world.
All right. State of Decay 2. Nice. And Brian.
Yes.
Yes.
Green.
Everybody. My character didn't die.
Shockingly.
My recommendo, I actually have two. I recommend The Big Uneasy by Jeremy Johnson, because it was really freaking fun and amazing. So if you do end up putting that up for people to access somehow or purchase or whatever, you got to try this. It is a blast, and it goes so fast. I've never been so excited to jump back into the next recording or next gameplay of it. So thank you.
I heard it sucked.
This is the best scenario I've ever played. I loved it all the way through. 1 star.
1 star. Best ever. The other recommendo I have is the 4th season of iZombie is on Netflix. So I've talked about the show before, but the 4th season, they put a twist in it. They actually come up with a cure for being a zombie, but it's extremely scarce. So it's almost like a fight over who's gonna over who's gonna take it, and if they should take it, because it'll take away their extra added strength and invulnerability and stuff. So adds a fun twist to it. There's still the investigation part. There's more of a military aspect now, and a company that's trying to turn people into zombies so they can create the perfect soldiers. So it's got a little bit of everything in this. It's a fun direction they're taking with it. So iZombie season 4 on Netflix.
Who wins?
I'm not telling you.
Save me the time.
I'm not telling you.
Whoever wins, we all lose.
That's true.
That's fair. All right. Our hardcore fans will remember last week I said I had a 2-part, a 2-week back-to-back recommendo. Well, this is that second part. Last week I recommended Quantum Conundrum. This week I'm recommending Quantum and Woody. You see the connection there? Yeah. It's
Conundrum.
Yeah, Conundrum's the connection. It's a comic book. It's made by a company called Valiant Comics, which I think is one of the best comic companies out there. I think they're extremely underrated. They've been around forever, but they just kind of hit their stride a few years ago and have been starting getting really popular to the point that I'm pretty sure they have some movies coming out soon. I know, Bloodshot, keep an eye out for that. But this is, I think, their best work, but that's subjective. But it's one of their older works too, I believe. Yes, it's the first volume started in 1998, but I'm more partial to the most recent volume. I think it's funnier. so that's just me, but check them both out. It is basically a Bedfellows buddy cop movie, but it's superheroes, and they have a pet goat, and it's basically, the best way I can describe it is it's white men can't jump if they were superheroes. And just, it's really hard to explain because it's always really fast pace moving, and all of the comedy hits you at all the time, and the action's great too. And it's just something you got to read to really understand it all, because there's so many in-jokes and stupid things that go on. So just give it a check out. It's real funny. It's real quality content. And it's Quantum and Woody.
Nice.
So
I'll wait for the
basically it's
movie.
Toy Story 5, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Toy Story 5.
Quantum and Woody.
But with Scott Bakula?
Yeah, well, so how they describe it themselves is it's Power Man and Iron Fist, but it's actually White Man Can't Jump.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
We'll check it out. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Lovecraft Tapes. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Music, Podbean, Stitcher, or anywhere you download your regular podcasts. If you like what you hear, please leave us a review. Meanwhile, you can find us at thelovecrafttapes.com with links to all our recommendos and social media channels, including Facebook, Reddit, YouTube, and our Discord server, where you can chat with us in real time. You can find me on Twitter at Lovecraft Tapes.
And if anyone wants to RSVP to the We're Not Dead Fuck Yeah party at Blaine Manor, hit me up on Twitter at The Real Weird Kid.
And if you want to console me, because everyone I ever cared about, and I swear to God, there's nobody left in this universe that I care about, I swear, is dead, you can find me at Lovecraft Gabe.
And if you want to check the scoreboard for the Zombies 0, Herbert 1, you can reach me
0.
at Brian Podcast on Twitter.
Well, until next time. Why?
Because.
All right, stop.